All right, welcome to Portal to the Future. Super excited to have you. Here's our overview of our session today. We're going to do a little intro. This is part of the intro. I've got a demo video for you. It's 2 minutes long. We're going to hear from some of our testers. And then we'll talk about what's coming up next. And we have some questions for you. So there will be multiple pop quizzes towards the end of this. So do be sure to pay attention. And then we'll talk about further updates. And I also wanted to make sure that we made some space. So if you have any shout outs for your project or anything that you're working on, that's going to be time for us to all share updates with each other. So a little bit of housekeeping. Right now, we're going to ask that folks do camera off and mic off during the course of this. We will be taking Q&A at the end, so save your questions. And then there'll be, I think the Q&A happens like via a separate pop-up, or is that all through the chat for us?
All through the chat, please.
Okay, so if you have questions along the way, feel free to just drop them into the chat and we will be answering them during a Q&A, which is going to be towards the end, but you're welcome to ask questions whenever. And so Parks Alliance over the last year has been upgrading a lot of our systems and our technology, and mostly that's happened in an in-house way. Where there hasn't been a ton of, I don't think there's been a ton of change for partners to see on it externally. But today is kind of, we're gonna talk through some of that and let you know how some of those changes are going to influence you and your project and your outcomes in great ways. A couple of the things that we've done is upgrade and integrate our database. In the past, we had program data, we had accounting data, and we had development and donor data all in separate databases. And we're working together to integrate all of those into a unified CRM that is synced with our accounting data. So what we're gonna walk you through is one of the products that's gonna allow us to do more with more unified data. So that's just a little preview for you that things have been changing. You may have seen some of this, but you'll be seeing more. And then also to let you know, we've done some question and answer with partners. We've done some interviews with individual partners to find out what are kind of some of the pain points for interacting with Parks Alliance. And we have a lot of feedback about ways that we can improve our service. And we hope that this portal is going to be one of those ways that we can do that. So one of the things that we heard was, making more information available to you in real time, improving the way that we do online donation and generally just making it easier to interact with us. And we've taken that feedback to heart. And this portal is our first step in the right direction for doing more of that. And it is, we're going to show you the first generation of this. There's a lot more change to come, but we're excited to show you what we've been working on and share with you what we think is going to be coming our way soon. Also, disclaimer, this is the part of the slideshow where I say, all of this is still in development. We actively have major bugs that we're working on, but we wanted to bring you along and give you a sneak preview of what's coming your way soon. So this isn't available for all partners yet. We hope to make it available to you soon, but we wanted to give you a little teaser about what we've been working on behind the scenes and let you know some of the changes and cool stuff that you can expect from us very soon. Leigh, did I forget anything?
I don't think so. That was great. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to, I think next we have our video. Okay. 1 second. Now, feel free to holler if the sound doesn't come through or if anything looks weird.
Welcome to the Partner Portal. The portal was created to be the one place for you to find all the documents and materials you need in order to be successful. The portal is a new digital tool that combines donor information and accounting data into one place for you. Let's log in and learn more. The Partner Portal is your one place to find everything you need to successfully administer your project. Within Resources, find forms for you, the authorized representative of your project. Download materials ranging from grant supplemental documents to the check run schedule. Also in resources, find forms and instructions for your donors. In the partner portal, you can also see donations in real time under the contributions tab. View the donation amounts and contact information so you can reach out directly to and build relationships with your donors. You can also download this report into a usable CSV or Excel file. Within statements, you can view your current and past quarterly financial statements all in one place. Lastly, manage support requests with your area manager. Specify the type of support you need and set the priority level to ensure your request is handled appropriately. After submitting a case, check on the status of your request. View past support questions and message your area manager directly about any of these requests. Thanks for watching. We're excited to build and test this tool with you. Please sign up today to be a tester and stay tuned for updates on the launch of the portal. Thank you for being a part of the Parks Alliance Community Partner Network.
Awesome. So that was a sneak preview of our portal. And pretty soon we're going to hear from some of our testers who actually have been in there looking at it, breaking stuff, and hopefully getting to know it a little bit better. And yeah, so with that, I will now introduce our first speaker, Matthew Blain, who is from SF Urban Writers, and he'll be talking about contributions and quarterly statements. Thanks, Matthew.
All right. Thanks, Leigh. Good afternoon, everyone. So yeah, I'm Matthew Blain with SF Urban Writers, and SF Urban Writers is an organization dedicated to creating more off-road cycling opportunities in San Francisco. Our goal is to build a citywide network of trails where people of all ages and abilities can ride bikes for fun and experience the outdoors in an urban environment. Our biggest project right now is at the Laguna Honda Community Trail System, which is where this picture you see here was taken. And we've also had a hand in trails from Golden Gate Park to Mount Susho to McLaren Park and other places in between over the past decade. You're welcome to stop by Laguna Honda tomorrow, check it out as part of the Open House Passport. And we also have a volunteer day in the morning. You can reach out to me if you want to know more about. So can I have the next slide, please? All right, so the new partner portal is a step in the direction that we've wanted in a very long time. Automated reporting of the information that the Parks Alliance has for our projects. So one of the big features here is these donations and contributions reporting. We can now see these donations pretty much in real time. This lets us see the information as it comes in, as people make donations to us. And you can use this portal just as is to sort the information in whatever way is important to you. So for example, you could sort by who's the most recent donor, so you could reach out to them. You could sort by name and find out people who are repeated donors. You could also sort by dollar amount if you want to see who your particularly generous donors are. Can I have the next slide, please? So the other thing you can do is export this information. It'll export in Excel format. You can view it in Google Sheets or Excel or other tools. And so what I do with this information is combine it with other information. So for example, I like to send a thank you note to our donors when we learn about them, and occasionally send them a thank you item. And I like to track all of that in a spreadsheet. So I know, okay, have I sent a thank you? Has a person responded yet? Have they actually received a note? So the huge thing, I mentioned this before, is the fact that this is very soon after donations are made. I assume pretty much instantaneously if it's done online. Instead of waiting, we've all experienced this, sort of an uncertain but long time for this data. Another thing I'd like to mention is online donations that Classy was released, I guess late last year as a new donation platform. And that also lets you do this, even if you're not yet a beta tester, for the online donations at least. So if you haven't signed up for Classy yet, I recommend you go and do that right now. And that way you can get the information there. And eventually you'll see all in this portal. Next slide, please. So another financial thing in the portal right now is financial reports. So these are the same quarterly reports that you get emailed today, but they're all stored in the portal. So they're all in one place and you don't need to store and track them and dig through email or wherever else you have kept them up to date. So we've all been asking for better integration of all the financial information. So I'd love to see the expenses as they're processed in real time, even better check request process, And the Parks Alliance team has heard this request and definitely knows about it. I'm happy to talk with other partner groups about what I do for tracking expenses or for this donation tracking or anything else. But I'd really like to thank the Parks Alliance team for building this new portal and listening to our feedback and suggestions and working on making it much better for system for all of us. So Leigh, I'll hand it back to you.
Hey, thank you, Matthew. I'm so glad that you plugged Classy as well. Classy is our online donation platform. So if you have any questions, please reach out to your area manager, and then they'll probably route you to me. But yeah, thank you so much for that great talk. Next up, we will hear from Karen Rhodes from the Tompkins Stairway Beautification Project, and she'll be covering resources and support cases.
Great. Thank you, Leigh and Kearstin, and welcome everybody to this session. I'm really happy to be here to talk to you about the partner portal in development from my perspective as an authorized representative for my project, which I know so many of you with us today are the representatives, authorized reps for your project. So I hope what I have to say resonates with you and the situations you find yourself in. I'm with the Tompkins Stairway Garden, which, as you can see behind me and on the screen here, is a tiled stairway and landscaped garden above the Alamany Farmers Market in Bernal Heights. We're one of now about a dozen tiled stairways in San Francisco, and I think we have someone here from the Detroit Steps. I think that's slated to be the next tiled stairway coming online with successful fundraising and community engagement. So stay tuned for that one, the Detroit Steps. But we're finding that we've been up and running 2 years now, and we've just seen a tremendous level of popularity on the part of locals and visitors alike. And these are all labors of love created by neighbors who want to turn an eyesore into a beautiful asset for the community. And we too are a passport stop tomorrow, as is the Urban Riders group that Matthew mentioned. So stop by. We'll be around between 1 and 2 tomorrow, so do stop by. One feature of the partner portal that I'm especially excited about is the resources area. And thank you, that's our next slide. This is set up like a library for all the materials that you, as an authorized representative for your project, might need. You might be working on a grant application, and here you will find all the supplemental materials that you need for your appendices, for your application. One thing I really like is the partner orientations. So every time I just need to refresh my memory about some aspect of working with the Parks Alliance, I can go to that document for a quick overview of all things partner related, a how-to for submitting a check request. There's also Parks Alliance logo files that you can download for use in your own communications. And our project, as I mentioned, has been pretty much completed for 2 years. So we're not in the active mode that so many of you may be in right now. But that doesn't mean that I have no reason to contact my area manager or look for documents and materials. And what I really like about the resource portal is that the one current up-to-date version of whatever it is I might be looking for will be there. I don't have to hunt around in my own files to try to remember when was the last time we changed or edited that document, and do I have the most current one here in front of me? So this is, you can consider this your library for finding up-to-date, accurate information for your grant proposals. For another example is the independent contractor form that you would use to develop an agreement with someone who might be coming in to do some landscaping or some other work on your project. So again, a library of reliable documents that you can use with confidence. To follow up on Matthew's remarks about classy, another document that is here in the resource page that I find particularly useful is the Classy User Guide. As you know, Classy is a platform you can use to maintain your own donor page. And when we do our donor appeals, our fundraising appeals, we want to try to freshen up the message, make it as compelling as possible. But I can never remember how to do that. It's simple, but I can never remember how to do that. So having the user guide there that I can refer to is really helpful. And the portal is also sharing our current contract with the Parks Alliance. That's another thing that I find very useful. And let's move on now to the aspect of the portal that I consider the most important, which is the support tab. So this is where we as beta testers have been focusing a lot of our time in providing feedback to Leigh and Kearstin. We really want to make this work for you. This support function will allow you to contact your area manager with a request. And it's set up so that you can define the type of request that it is, assign it a level of urgency. Is it something that needs to be attended to right now, or is it medium or low priority? You can describe your request in as much detail as possible that would be appropriate. Hit send, it gets routed to your area manager, who will respond directly or else reassign it if it's a matter that is best handled by someone else. But better yet, you will be kept informed. You'll get status updates as to where your request is in the system. And this, once we fine tune it and get it right, and we're really all committed to making sure that happens, you will no longer have to wonder where your request is in the system, wonder, gosh, should I ping my area manager? I haven't heard back from him or her in a few days. So this is slated to be a much more reliable and streamlined and responsive way for you to be in communication with your area manager and with other team members at the Parks Alliance. So I think that's a brief overview. I don't know if Matthew or others want to weigh in with other comments about the support function.
I'll just weigh in. Yeah, like Karen said, this is something that we're really looking forward to. It's definitely still in its pilot stages, but I've so appreciated all of our testers' attention in this area specifically. It's been really, really helpful. But if that is it, thank you so much, Karen. I loved working with you, and I'm excited to continue to work with you.
My pleasure.
Okay, so I am actually going to launch a poll based off of all the things you just heard. I want to ask you a question, and that is, what current feature are you most excited about? So I'll just give you some time to answer that, and then we'll see the results.
Kind of cool. Leigh and I get to see the results in real time here. This is fun.
Yeah, I've never been on this side of the poll before. It's great.
11 more votes we're waiting for. Here they come. It's jumping around. What will be the most exciting feature? And so why are we taking pop quizzes? Leigh and I are actually gonna take these results and share them, obviously with the testers, but also with staff. And we'll be using your input today to help us refine and define our priorities as we go forward. So if you are one of the 10 people who has yet to vote, please do find your way to the polls pop-up and let us know what you care about when it comes to features that we can improve and share with you. 10 more folks. There we go, we got one. Awesome. 9 more folks.
I'll just give you maybe 10 more seconds if you are really thinking about it and you just don't know which one.
Ooh, there we got one. Yeah, so, and the polling is a pop-up. So if you have a bunch of windows open, dig around, see if you can find that poll pop-up.
Yeah, if you see the like blue Zoom logo, it may be flashing or something like that. But I'm just gonna end it here. We can try again on the next one. And it looks like most people have said seeing donations in real time, which is very exciting.
Leigh works with donations. Leigh is the person who brings you this new feature, not only classy, but also being able to see your donations. Yeah, they come in daily with the portal. We'll be able to show you refreshes daily.
It's actually every 10 minutes.
What?
We're getting it
down.
Wow,
it's even better than the last time I saw it. You're amazing.
We're improving. All right. Kearstin, could you do the next slide? Awesome. Yeah. So I know a lot of the question, or a lot of you are wondering, when can I actually get my hands on this? When can I see my donations? And I just wanted to give a kind of brief overview of our roadmap, and then also share with you our next steps and how you can get involved. So we just finished up alpha testing with our amazing testers. We did some developing and got it to the place that you saw it today. And we're soon moving into another round of testing that we're referring to as beta testing. And that's really where we'll ask you partners to sign up and get your hands on the product, actually like go in there, test and look at your real data, and then give us feedback on what we can do better, if you found any bugs, and all of that stuff. And then after that, depending on how long that takes, how much feedback we get, and how long the like financial integration takes as well, we'll go into integrating and taking all your feedback, putting it into the portal, and then finally full launch. So we're hoping to get this all launched by FY22, and by FY22, that's fiscal year 2022. And for anyone who isn't fully aware, our fiscal years start in July. So that's actually just in a couple of months. We likely will not have this done by July 1, so at the start of FY22, but a more detailed timeline will definitely be coming soon. So make sure you are signed up to receive the partner newsletter. And if you don't know what that is, ask your area manager. They'll get you signed up. Right, next slide, please. And even as we move into this beta testing, one thing that came from alpha testing were these really great ideas of what we should focus on next. And we've kind of consolidated them down into these 5 main points. The first is to improve access to contact information. So right now we have, you're able to see in the portal, like their basic address, email, and I think that's it right now, maybe phone number. But ideally you would be able to see that we had the wrong address, click on that person and update that information so we could send out an acknowledgement on your behalf to the correct address. Then the next one is improving collaboration with SFPA staff. So this one, as Karen said, right now with the cases, we're really working on those, but they get routed through the area manager first. Ideally, we would be able to like have you submit a case, and if it was like a finance support question, it would go directly to our finance department and everything would just kind of be a little bit quicker, and you would be able to be in communication with that person on Parks Alliance staff. So that's something else that has been asked. Third one is spreading the word about your project. So this one is a place within the portal to tell us about your upcoming projects or events or work days. You can tell us or send us photos through the portal of those work days or events, or even simply just update your social media information so we know the right person to tag in our Instagram posts, or we can update that on our website. The fourth one is more information within the portal. So that's showing even more donor contact information, or even showing finished independent contractor agreements. Right now you can see the fiscal sponsorship agreement, but not all independent contractor agreements. And that's something that has been asked. So we're looking into that. And then the final one, which is something that we know is very, very important, but it just hinges on our ability to kind of connect different systems in our end, is this expense management one. And that is really improving the check request process to make it a little less painful, and also giving you outgoing transactions in at a more quicker rate. So Kearstin, could you advance one more? And I am going to launch another poll. So this one is based off of what I had just mentioned, those 5 speech bubbles. Which one of those are you most excited to see in the future?
I know which one I know which one my money is on, because we've heard it from partners since we started asking questions. We've heard it from partners since before we started asking questions. Ooh, I see some responses that don't. Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
okay. Wow, there's a lot more diverse answers than I anticipated hearing. Very interesting. See, this is why we're expanding our testing pool. Karen and Matthew were like, what? All right, so find that pop-up, come on over and tell us what else you want to see in the portal. And just while we're here and we're kind of looking and waiting, I had some good questions. We're going to go Q&A next. So think of your burning questions, and I will share some of the questions that came to me during the presentation. What is this? Who is it for? And how does it work? These are important questions. So what is this? What is it actually? This is a tool for people who, Parks Alliance, we call you authorized reps. You are volunteers mostly. You are project leaders for community projects that are fiscally sponsored by San Francisco Parks Alliance. That's who this tool is for. At any given point in time, we have between, I want to say 70 and 120 fiscally sponsored projects. So there's a whole bunch of you, and an authorized rep is basically the person who takes administrative responsibility for that group. And so there's a lot of work. There's contract management, there's expense management, there's fundraising. And this portal is something that brings all of that functionality into one place for you. And how does it work? How is it built? It's actually a product that is offered by Salesforce that we are working with a developer to customize and build out specifically for the needs of our authorized reps, our fiscally sponsored projects, our community partners, so that you can spend more time doing the cool stuff, less time focusing on chasing paper. And that's our aim for you. So I see we've got 12 votes in. There's still a few more out there if folks want to weigh in on what else should we be focusing on. These are totally different results than I expected, Leigh. I'm like it's opposite of what I thought it was going to be, which is great. I'm like, thank you for correcting our assumptions here.
I'm going to give it 10 more seconds.
10 more seconds. All right, dig around, find that pop-up, press the button, vote for the future of the portal.
So I'm going to share them now. And yeah, it looks like a lot of you have asked or said that spreading the word about your project, so sharing your story, social media handles, upcoming events are most important, with pretty much everything else coming in.
Really excited about this. Yeah, so internally, our marketing department's been the most excited about the functionality here. And what this would allow us to do is for you to share content with us, and that way we can spread the word about what you're doing, what you're working on, what you're excited about. Cool. Unexpected results.
That's great.
All right.
All right. So like I mentioned earlier, our next phase of this testing is this beta testing phase. And I would love everyone here to sign up if you're interested. I'm going to drop a link to be a tester in the chat as well. And this link will also be in the slides. So if you don't want to do it right now, you want to think on it, you'll be able to access it later. And then also at any time, you can reach out to your area manager and just tell them that you want to be a beta tester for the partner portal. Awesome. Okay, so next we have Q&A. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat and I will be on the lookout, ready to answer some or pass them off to some of our panelists.
And let's Karen and Matthew, if you guys want to camera on, unmute, come back to the land of video and be ready to answer some questions too. Also, I want to hear your reactions to some of these poll results. This is like this is a major departure from what we anticipated results would be. What do you think?
I think it's interesting. I think I'd be curious to hear if what people are looking for is the ability to automate spreading the word about their projects, or if they're just want the marketing department to work with them to spread the information about their projects. I don't know if people want to comment on that in the chat or things like that, or reach out to you.
So Fede, I'm going to take your question here. What's the process to become an approved fiscal project? And do projects have to be approved separately? The scope of the projects are generally up to the community, and you usually are defining that scope in partnership with the public property owner or agency that you're working with. So you define the scope, and then together, once you have your project defined, you work with Parks and Alliance to provide back office support, things like insurance, things like contracting and fundraising typically are the most used services that we have, and why we have fiscal sponsorship. And I see Ruth, good question. How are check requests going to work with 2 signatures? Ruth, this is the question. And just for partners to know, like staff use the same check request process. So we know, like, I feel it in my bones every time I have to do it. I feel your pain. Leigh and I are highly motivated to make some streamlining efforts here. We do have DocuSign. It is integrated. It's not yet ready to integrate with the check request process. So I don't know exactly how it's going to work. But our goal is to use basically like an online form function where you would type in information, and then things could be automatically calculated or auto-populated based on choices that you make. And then obviously we want to try and integrate DocuSign to the degree that we can to get those double signatures. So we'd be, our highest goal is to move from wet signature or PDF or anything that needs to be downloaded to a fully digital system. And we're hitting some snags right now, which is why it's not part of 1.0. And why I don't have more detail on exactly what it's going to look like, but that's what we want to go.
I can also answer your question, Ruth, about Classy. So yes, Classy will remain the donation tool once the portal is launched. The only difference is then Classy pushes to the portal. So you can see both your checks and your online donations in one place. So that's just good to know. Once you're in the portal, you don't want to thank the same donor twice. You do want to mainly use the portal as your like kind of single source of truth for all the donations coming in, but all online donations will still need to go through Classy.
Question from Cyrus about insurance. Parks Alliance does provide insurance for all of our fiscally sponsored projects. It's like board and officer and volunteer insurance. And, you know, this is sort of the standard package. It does include events, but talk to your area manager about the details of what's required. Some events require a separate insurance waiver, and I don't know anything about it. Good question, but ask your area manager. And Fede, for food vendors, do you have to use this? I'm not sure what you know, food vendors, the Parks portal is the partner portal is for fiscally sponsored projects, which are typically community projects, volunteer run projects. So, so no, food vendors don't have to use it.
And I would just want to note that the portal is free, will be free whenever we launch it. So it's not an added cost to use the portal, except for, of course, your time and energy and learning how to use it.
That's right.
These are really great questions, so please keep them coming. And if you have any questions for Matthew or Karen, throw them in the chat as well. Kearstin, are you able to answer Cyrus's question? I'm not sure. I personally don't know the answer.
Yeah, let me just read through here. Yeah, so when you are, so this is we've got a general fiscal sponsorship kind of question. When we do fundraising for our grants, do we mention that we are fiscally sponsored by Parks Alliance? The answer is yes, because Parks Alliance and a project are one and the same project. And so you would mention that you are fiscally sponsored by Parks Alliance when you do fundraising and grant writing. No, it's complicated, right? I know that Karen and Matthew can attest, like, you will learn more than you ever thought you might about how to administer contracts and grants and everything. It's you know, it's a lot of work to make these projects happen. And you know, we're honored to be your partner in doing that, and we're really excited to try and, you know, lift some of that administrative burden from your shoulders again, so that you can spend more time on your projects. So, you know, yeah.
So I can speak to that a second as a partner, but also someone who's on the, you know, board of another organization. It is a lot less work to have a fiscal sponsor like the Parks Alliance. You know, you would have huge amounts more freedom on your own, but for most of the park projects, what you want is to get your project done, and having someone like the Parks Alliance be your fiscal sponsor enables that. And if you're fiscal sponsored by any other group, you'd say whatever this other organization is your fiscal sponsor as well. But that is the huge advantage there.
And a thought just occurred to me. This is Karen. One enhancement we've been talking about with a portal down the road. Yes, gladly start my video. Yes, one enhancement, improvement we've been talking about down the road is is making sure that this partner portal serves as a robust platform for you as community partners, being able to promote interaction among ourselves, really strengthen the network. My project, as I mentioned, has been completed for a couple of years, but I've spent a lot of the last couple of years being in touch with many of you as you are launching projects, and being able to share war stories about what worked and what didn't work, secrets about how to navigate red tape, partner to partner, have been really helpful. So I don't quite know what this looks like yet. And this summit is another avenue for that kind of interaction and sharing of war stories. So that's an idea or a hope that I know I have for the portal going down the road, is seeing how it can strengthen the network we've all created as partners.
Yeah, it's a great point. And, you know, we selected this quote because I wanted to be sure that we kind of underscored that, you know, we're at version 1.0. This is, you know, the very, very beginning of what this tool can and will be. And we imagine that there are going to be, you know, iterations and improvements along the way. And we hope that we're building a foundation that can be built upon and expand out to meet the many needs that our partners as a community and a network have. There is great potential for us to share stories on it, for us to share information between each other. And at this moment in time, Leigh and I are just focused on the fundamentals of like, can we give you the data that we currently have? But I know in, you know, the weeks, months, years to come, we really do hope that the portal is going to be your one-stop shop for everything that you need, and a great way to share lessons learned between each other and really support it. And I know, you know, we can't even imagine what new and wonderful ideas you might have, or ways that we can expand and enhance our service to you, so that you can, you know, focus more on what you're doing in the field and less on what you have to do at you know, the desk that you're at right now. So, you know, we really thank you for your time today. If you want to work with us some more, Leigh, could you give us another, drop it in the chat? Yeah, look at this kiddo. Drop us in the chat and give us a link to the beta testers. Shout out to our testers. These are 2 of 5 folks who've given up a lot of time, at like an hour a week, to connect with us, to help us build this out for you. So applause to you for you know, your volunteerism on behalf of not only your project, but also everybody else's project too. Yeah. And any last questions? Now's your time. The link that Leigh just dropped in the chat is to sign up to be a tester if you want us to reach out to you, so you can, you know, help shape and inform what we do next with this new phase and this new portal. We'd love to have you.
And I'll just, yeah, again, echo a lot of what Kearstin has said. I've really appreciated the hard work of Matthew and Karen, and I see Rosara is here. She's one of our testers as well. But yeah, even everyone else who isn't here but was a tester, it's been invaluable having you, your feedback and everything. The only other thing I wanted to say is, here is a link to the summit portal, so where you can find all the Zoom links for the rest of the groups, or for the rest of the sessions. And we do have the Wheel of Partners coming up at 3:30. So